Coming up, Tzu Chi volunteers in Kuala Lumpur come to the aid of a Pakistani family in need. In Japan, seniors will receive Tzu Chi's assistance, reciprocate by donating to Taiwan quake relief. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Dennis Wu. Thank you for joining us. 34-year-old Usman Gul and his family moved to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia to escape from conflicts in his country of Pakistan. Their life was hard, but it was at least stable, with his job as a security guard. Unfortunately, on February 11th, Usman was hit by a motorcycle on his way home and subsequently lost his job, leaving him unable to pay his medical bill. Thankfully, Tzu Chi volunteers in Kuala Lumpur went to lend their assistance.
Usman Gul, 34 years old, was injured by a motorcycle on his way home from work and was hospitalized for over 2 weeks. Because he couldn't afford the medical fees, he had to go home and rest. On this day, Tzu Chi volunteers paid the bill for him and asked the volunteer firefighters to bring him home. When they arrived on the first floor, they realized the elevator is broken. Then the volunteer firefighters have to carry Gul, weighing 176 pounds, to his home on the 6th floor. Turning at every corner is a test of their strength.
It was very difficult to move him, as the stairs were narrow, and there were only 3 of us. But his neighbors saw us and gave us a hand.
With neighbors' help, Gul finally arrived home. His wife, Ambreen Usman, is perplexed at what to do.
He's the only one who supports our family. There's no other who can support. I searched on internet, so I found the phone number of your foundation. So I called them and they came forward to help us.
Tzu Chi volunteers have paid Gul's medical bill, so he can recuperate without worry. The volunteers will continue caring for his family.
As part of the Happy Campus program, the Tzu Chi New York chapter have long partnered with PS201, the Discovery School for Inquiry and Research, to help feed children from low-income families while at school. Recently, the chapter and Queens County Dental Society came together to bring proper toothbrushing lessons and a simple dental exam to the school's students.
On this day in New York's PS 201, the students are attending a special class held by Tzu Chi New York chapter and Queens County Dental Society.
I think that nowadays the school is too so focused on the testing, and they forgot a lot of real life skill. And children, they don't really know how to brush their teeth, and kind of bring the awareness to them.
A total of 8 dentists have offered their services to check 212 students' teeth.
They're just doing a screening, so they just look in their mouth to see if they have any cavities or what's there, and then they give them a little goodie bag with toothpaste, toothbrushes, and they go home with a note to mommy, and then they'll take it from there. Some students probably haven't been to a dentist before or don't know how to brush properly, so it's a good thing that they're coming to the school to actually help them and go home and tell their parents, hey, I saw a dentist today, I need to go see a dentist.
Children who don't have early dental screenings, dental health care, have much greater risk of lifelong dental problems. As adults, they have a lot more issues that could have been handled much more cost effectively as children.
Actually, everybody has fun and they're all happy, and that's the most important thing.
I'm going to use it twice in a day to keep my teeth clean.
Doctor should be helping all the time and the teaching all the time.
In Japan, heavy snow blanketed many regions in January, including Kanayama Town in Onuma District of Fukushima Prefecture. Since most of the residents there are seniors, Tzu Chi volunteers work with Tzu Chins to help clear away the accumulated snow in the town. Later, when the residents learned of the recent earthquake in Taiwan, they also donated to Tzu Chi to reciprocate.
In late January of this year, heavy snow in Japan disrupted transportation systems in major cities and blanketed remote regions. In Onuma's Kanayama Town in Fukushima Prefecture, where most residents are seniors. City volunteers and Tzu Chis work together to help the locals clear the accumulated snow.
Hi.
Their first stop was the Kashima Shrine. Without prior snow shoveling experience, these young volunteers struggle in the snow removal process. Although they slipped and fell, the kind-hearted volunteers touched the local residents deeply.
With your help this year, there is now less snow on the ground. In the past years, the snowfall was only half the amount compared to this year. Fortunately, you came to help. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The volunteers then extended their snow removal services to nearby residences.
Okay.
Bidding farewell to the residents, the volunteers never imagined that another disaster that took place a week later would bring them together again. By mid-February, the Tzu Chi Japan chapter received a donation in Tokyo.
I saw the quake-related news reports on TV and thought to myself, is there something we can do? You have helped us a lot before. So those of us who know about your snow removal service began to canvass for donations. We hope the money will be of help.
Reciprocating Tzu Chi's assistance, the residents of Kaneyama town have also shown that love creates a cycle of compassion.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Keelung, Taiwan recently spent 4 days repairing an old house for Mrs. Liao and her daughter. At first, Mrs. Liao refused Tzu Chi's assistance, but as the old house had been damaged by years of leakage, it was no longer livable without serious repairs. After the house was completely repaired, Mrs. Liao sang a song to express her happiness.
Keelung is raining most of the time, so too much moisture will ruin the interior and collapse it. But because Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for her family for 2 years, Ms. Liao agrees to the volunteers' request to repair her house.
Starting this month, we'll give you long-term financial aid. Then your life will improve and you'll have money to pay the bills.
This old house wasn't well looked after, so there were leaks and holes everywhere. Thanks to the good weather, Tzu Chi volunteers are able to repair the roof, install new windows, redo the interior of the house, build a new stair, install a water heater, and give the bathroom a new look.
I feel my mom is emotionally better after she's seen new things in the house.
It will. We'll keep visiting her. We might even help her bath.
Mrs. Liao's mood is brightened up with songs, which makes Tzu Chi volunteers confident that they will bring sunshine to Mrs. Liao and her daughter with their love.
This March 14th will mark the opening of the 20th annual Hong Kong Film and TV Market, or Film Mart. At the festival this year, a total of 9 Taiwanese films will be presented, including one DaAi TV production, Where the Heart Belongs. The festival will be an excellent chance to showcase Taiwan's diverse filmmaking talent to an international audience.
每一天不想。
先生小孩在哪里，家就在哪里。
The DaAi drama Where the Heart Belongs is scheduled to be broadcast on March 29th as a DaAi production that will also be shown at the annual Hong Kong International Film and TV Market. This film reflects the humanitarian principles of Tzu Chi.
We hope to promote the humanistic values of Tzu Chi from Taiwan to Asia and all over the world. We hope everyone can understand what Tzu Chi's humanitarianism is really about.
The story of the film revolves around the life of a Tzu Chi volunteer, Wu Jialin, over the course of nearly 50 years. It is a drama about family and crossing ethnic boundaries.
I hope that I can teach by example to those who see it. I hope this film has a great influence on my children.
Living in this era, you need to hold your tongue. You couldn't just show anger when you felt like it. You had to act according to the will of the elders in the household. If your parents needed something from you, you simply had to follow their wishes.
Wu Jialin really accepted the newcomers as her own daughters, helped them establish roots in Taiwan. She made them feel they belong.
Where the Heart Belongs is a moving and emotional tale. This film, along with the other 8 entries from Taiwan at the 2016 Hong Kong International Film and TV Market, will showcase Taiwan's diversity and creativity.
Learning doesn't just stop with a high school or college graduation, which is why many colleges and universities have established a continuing education center, so people from all walks of life can continue to pursue an education. We now introduce you to Tzu Chi University Center, where many retirees have opened up a new chapter in their life through the center's programs.
Joining a choir to sing together or learning to play the Chinese zither. These students of all ages are learning on their own, which proves that people can learn anywhere as long as they want to. Next, a quartet serenades a Hakka song beautifully. This is 8 years of hard work by Hakka instructor Tzu Chi. In a different music class, suddenly the teacher is now a student. Before retiring, Jiang taught at Yuli Junior High School, as he knew how to play several Western instruments. He also served as a wind instrument instructor. However, there was something he always wanted to do.
At the time, I taught wind instrument, so I didn't have time to learn to play the Chinese instrument, hu. Though I thought about learning it, I just couldn't, as teachers have to spend a lot of time preparing for each class. At the time to learn something like that, I did have to travel to Taipei.
To fulfill his dream now, Jiang has to travel for an hour and a half from Yuli to the Tzu Chi Community College in Hualien City. A Yuli native, over the past few decades, he witnessed how his colleagues left their post because they couldn't continue to learn.
They wanted to continue their education after spending a year here, so they all asked to be transferred back to the city.
If I was teaching a class, I'd see my students get off work and come straight to class carrying a yoga mat. There really is a difference in the venue and students' attitude.
Rural areas are just not as convenient as their urban counterparts. However, the desire to further themselves is the same no matter where people live. As Hualien lacked a proper venue and qualified instructors for those who want to learn, while the Ministry of Education began emphasizing continuing education, the Tzu Chi University established its Continuing Education Center in 1997.
We hope that all who want an education may pursue it wherever they may be. Master Zeng once said there are many flaws in the world, which can only be filled by love, and that continuing education can help people fill the void in them.
Through the Continuing Education Center, everyone can learn whatever they want to learn. As the program grew in popularity, it expanded its scope of service to cover all of Taiwan and has even been made available abroad.
起立。老师好。好，请坐。
Taking notes diligently, 66-year-old Chen Guanghua retired from the post office. This is what he has to say after spending years learning at the Continuing Education Center.
After retiring, we should plan out what to do with our time, which will serve as a blueprint to guide us. If you don't make a plan, your life will be like a jigsaw puzzle. Only by cultivating ourselves continuously can we give meaning to our life in retirement. Tzu Chi volunteers in central Taiwan have been giving out wooden plaques inscribed with Jingzi aphorisms to different schools. Among the recipients was the Taichung Special Education School for the visually impaired, who has added Braille patterns to the plaques so its students can learn from these words of wisdom. Most people can read Jingzi aphorisms inscribed on these wooden plaques with their eyes. But for students at the school for the visually impaired, they can only read with their hands.
Stay humble, but do not underestimate yourself.
The most beautiful face is a smiling face.
Touching the Braille patterns on the wooden plaques, the students read out the Jingzi aphorism clearly and taking the wisdom with their heart.
笑会不会让人家开心？
会。
你喜不喜欢笑？
喜欢。我已经背起来了。
哦，你都已经背起来了。
对啊。
因为你常常看吗？
Tzu Chi volunteers in central Taiwan have been giving out wooden plaques inscribed with Jingzi aphorisms to schools. Among the recipients, the school for the visually impaired has added Braille patterns to the bottom of the plaques with the help of students.
He can read it by touching it. It is more than a wooden plaque. The students can learn the essence of the phrases through touching.
Now the students can easily touch and learn Jingzi aphorisms displayed in the school hallway. The delight in learning words of wisdom is clearly shown with the smiles on their faces. We now join two Tzu Chi blessing ceremonies held in Australia. At the gathering in the Gold Coast, there were plenty of donated coin banks, as well as a couple of young volunteers that were selling coffee to raise donations, all for the victims of the recent Tainan earthquake. While in Brisbane, Tzu Chi will be working with a local charity organization and 2 hospitals to set up a free clinic center.
In Brisbane, Tzu Chi will be working with a homeless shelter and 2 hospitals to set up a free clinic center. The Tzu Chi Liaison Office announces the good news at a blessing ceremony.
Particularly in that supported housing environment, I think is desperately needed, and it's filling a gap which otherwise would never get filled. And the difficulty I often found in the government clinics was that patients weren't even made to feel welcome. So they may have a technical fix to their problems, but they certainly they never felt like they belonged, and they never felt like they were welcome.
I'm blessed this new activity going forward in terms of our partnership, the Health Centre, to hear about all the wonderful work of Tzu Chi and its partnerships around the world, very much to set this context of this new work going forward. So I think that was lovely, and equally it was great to come together on a significant day.
At the blessing ceremony, Tzu Chi invited the superintendent of Taichung's Tzu Chi Hospital to come share his insights on Tzu Chi's medical mission.
The master looks at medical mission from the perspective of the public. From this perspective, Tzu Chi's medical mission is really special, and its methods are adaptable. In the future, we hope to influence more people through Tima's work.
The volunteers of Australia's Gold Coast are inspiring kindness and compassion at this year's blessing ceremony. Many coin banks are donated for victims of Taiwan's earthquake in early February. Donations are also raised by this young pair of Tzu Chings who are selling coffee at the event.
It's great that we can use coffee to contribute to quake relief efforts in Taiwan. We're so happy for this opportunity, and we believe love inspires compassion.
As Tzu Chi enters its 50th year, a video is shown on its charity work worldwide. In addition, the volunteers will work with local charity organizations to help refugees.
It's just amazing to see all the work that you do, not only in Australia but internationally, and to also know that we can start this really good relationship with you guys and be able to support our clients as refugees in their new life here in Australia. So it's really exciting.
The light of these lanterns is a symbol for the love carried in the hearts of Tzu Chi volunteers. This year, everyone hopes that love will flourish here in Australia and that they may continue to ease suffering in all its forms.
A senior Tzu Chi kitchen volunteer in Taiwan, Liu Fuzi recently went to Beijing, China, to share her culinary prowess with local volunteers. During the classes, Liu also shared Tzu Chi's history and stories about Master Zhen Yan, hoping the students will not only develop cooking skills, but also understand the significance of Tzu Chi's vegetarian campaign.
Promoting vegetarian food since she was young, Tzu Chi volunteer Liu Fuzi cherishes every opportunity to pass on her experience.
I'll be sharing much history of Tzu Chi and stories about the master in this class. Why? You'll soon become culinary instructors who promote vegetarian food, and these are the materials you can share.
Vegetarianism is not only beneficial to health, it is also a way to save lives and reduce waste. With much teaching experience and knowing the students' needs, Leo explains each step in detail. Doing her best to share the keys to delicious vegetarian cuisine, Leo has also inspired the students.
We can recruit more volunteers by first attracting them with tasty food. This is my lifetime goal, so I'm very willing to do this. In Taichung, the owner of a local cleaning business has been helping to care for the local homeless for a long time. Recently, he decided to offer instruction to some homeless people on how to prepare dumplings. Although the job doesn't earn much, every bit counts. And they also gain confidence with what little they do earn.
Up early in the morning to start preparation for the dumplings, Ai is careful to make sure everything has been cleaned properly.
If the leaves are old and damaged, like this one here, then they're a bit old, and I'll throw those out.
For the best tasting dumplings, attention to detail is absolutely necessary. This is Ai, who is almost 50 years old. When he was young, he suffered a failed business venture and since then has drifted from job to job. Currently, he is grateful for this opportunity to make dumplings.
For me, this has helped me regain some self-confidence. From this point, I can really concentrate on what to do next and finding a good job opportunity.
He is quite apt at wrapping the dumplings, giving each one 3 perfect creases. The owner of this cleaning company believes that what the homeless people really need is just a little faith in themselves.
After costs, there's not a lot of money to earn, but just having a chance to work gives them satisfaction. It gives me a sense of accomplishment.
With renewed confidence, homeless people are getting their lives back on track with the help of this business owner.
Once again, Tzu Chi volunteers in northern Taiwan visited the翠柏community in Xizhi to cheer up the elderly who live there. As each senior has a different hobby, the volunteers had to prepare an array of activities to keep them entertained. We join the lovely get-together at the end of today's program. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.